What's up, fellow entrepreneurs? It's John Fagerholm again, and today I wanted to talk about the coronavirus. Now, I know that's something that everybody's talking about, and you can't overhear a conversation or even get into a conversation where someone isn't talking about that. But I wanted to talk about it in the context of businesses and employment laws and so on, because I'm getting a lot of questions about it. Interesting because for years now, I've been expecting the economy to take a little bit of a nosedive, and I've been attempting to prepare for it. And people were saying it's either going to naturally slow down or there's going to be some black swan event. A month ago, it didn't look like this economy was going to be slowing down for any reason. Well, here it is, the black swan event that's tanking the economy right now. And I kind of think of this as sort of the environment right after 9/11. I remember in 9/11, I was just a few months out of law school, and it felt a little bit like this. It felt like people weren't going out, people weren't spending money, the economy was slowing down, and then, months later it picked up. With this, who knows? It's just in the last week, all of these big things happened. The big shocking one was to me anyway, the NBA just postponing its season. That was shocking. From what I've read, they potentially will lose about $200 million on that. So I don't know. It's this thing could burn out during the summer, just like regular flu does, or who knows what's going to happen with this thing. But in any event, I've had several clients contact me and say, well, what do we do? Well, first of all, just from a business perspective, I think you should have a plan in place, because when you have cities like San Francisco that say you can't gather more than 1,000 people in one place, when you have cities like Seattle that are requiring the big employers to make them telecommute or whatever it is. Those that can, I guess Microsoft and some of the other big ones are doing it. And then you've got whole regions of Italy that are just, shut down. And a friend of mine sent me a video because she lives in Milan, and it was a ghost town. It was literally nobody in the streets. So potentially that could happen, anywhere in any city, and we have a plan in place because we do everything electronically anyway with our files, because my concern was that, well, LA could have a shutdown, or even our building could have a shutdown. And so if that were to happen, then we would still have to work, employees would still have to, the time clock for litigation doesn't stop because of a virus, so we would still have to continue our work. So I think the first thing is to have a plan in place. A plan in place, number one, to continue with work, and then also a plan in place for the employees. So besides putting a plan in place for us to work remotely, if that's required, we also put a plan in place now for hand washing, sanitizing, things like that. And I think that's a good plan to put into place, just so if someone does get sick, then they don't say, you're held liable for it, because obviously you're not responsible for a virus, but you're responsible for not being negligent, right? So I don't know what it could possibly be, but nothing surprises me in California. I can imagine people getting sick, and then somehow it's the employer's fault for not doing the most they can to protect the employees. So what I did was I wrote an email with instructions about hand washing, where all the hand washing stations are, about if you're not feeling well, what you do, don't come into work, common sense stuff. So I think that's probably a good plan. One, for your business to figure out how you can keep operating the best you can, and then two, the safety of your employees, so that if someone is ill, how do you keep the other employees safe? So anyway, I think, and I'm hoping that this thing blows over at least by summer. I think maybe before then. It seems to be getting worse every time I read, but I don't know. Is that Is that news hype, or is that real? Who knows? I guess only time will tell. All right, fellow entrepreneurs, until next time, be safe and also be productive.